Andrija's film, The Uncle, was among the nominated film to the Young Talent Awards. And I don't think we have one of the jury members from last year, no? No, okay, but we do have jury members from this year, so...
Who is you?
No. And, yeah. So, just really 1 minute of introduction. So we are glad to collaborate with you, not only with this program, but also with all the other activities that you took part in. We were having an interview, a similar one, just shorter with Maciej Sztur, that was last Sunday. It was really, I think, important and nice. And thanks to all of you who stayed also for the longer interview. And yes, as far as the Young Talents Award is concerned, so I think it's really important because filmmakers who make a first film and second film, now Andrija was here last year presenting the film, and just this afternoon, this evening, he's part of the international jury of the festival. He will be meeting Patrice Lecomte, with whom maybe we will manage to do an interview. I will be, as soon as I meet him actually in 1 hour, I will tell you if he is willing to do it or not. And yeah, I think it's just something nice for you because you are watching all these films, but also it can have a small importance, for the filmmakers. I mean, Andrija can say it better than me, but in any case, my message is just, we are glad to collaborate with you, with Anne, also with Eric, and we are glad that you're watching the films. And if anyone has still Saturday, so tomorrow, some free time, feel free to join even last moment the award ceremony, which will be in Kinepolis in Kirchberg at 7. So you can even come a bit later. I leave you in good hands.
Good luck.
See you. Good luck.
Bye.
Bye.
Well, then let's start the interview. Well, I'm very happy to have you here, Andrija Mardešić.
I'm very happy to be here.
Yes, well, you've met us briefly now. We're all young film students. My first question would be, could you guide us through your trajectory, how you came to be here in Luxembourg? Did you also study cinema, or were you an amateur who just started with a film camera by yourself? Just talk us a bit through
Okay. Well, I studied film school in Zagreb. I applied when I was 18 years old, and it said in Zagreb that it's very difficult because it was a practice in Zagreb that you have to finish some kind of humanistic studies or something like that, and then they will take you on film school. But fortunately or unfortunately, I managed to apply and start studying when I was 18. But before that, I was doing some amateur films when I was in high school, and when I finished academy in Zagreb, I finished directing. It was not like here. We were separated. On the first year, I was applied to be a director and screenwriter. There was also the cinematographer.
So separated by interest?
Yeah, separated by interest, yes, from the first year. And after that, after I finished film school, I started to write and direct soap operas.
Oh,
and telenovelas in Croatia. And I would say that was the best school I had. It was better than college, because soap operas and telenovelas are that kind of series and format that you have to think quickly and make a lot of material and content in very short time.
Okay. And did you have some creative freedom though?
No, you don't have any creative freedom
just,
at all. You
like
have this
schablon,
and you have to put your creativity inside this schablon.
Okay, yeah.
In Croatia, popular soap operas are not like Mexican or Turkish. It is like humoristic comedic soap operas. So you have to be. Thank you very much. Creative, and I was directing it and I was writing it. And writing and directing this kind of formats, you have to really quickly think. And when you write your scripts, people usually have a year, 2 years, 3 years to make it, and you have to make one episode in 1 day.
Oh shit! And how long is the episode?
Episode 45 minutes.
45. That's not bad. So you would get up in the morning, you would write the episode the same day?
No, it's a writer's room. The five of us are meeting in this room, and we are thinking what should we do these 5 episodes, and in the Thursday we go home and write that episode.
Okay, not bad. And after the...
And that was what I was doing since yesterday.
Since, what do you mean?
Yesterday was last day of this series I was working on for 5 months.
Okay.
And I came.
So you've still been working on the telenovelas up to this day?
Yes.
And in parallel you work on, well, for example, for the
I had a pause for 4 years,
Okay.
but in Croatia, I should put it like this: it's filmmaking is hobby. Filmmaking is something you make every few years. It lasted for 7 years to make The Uncle.
Okay,
Yes, from the first line, from the script till the premiere on Karlovy Vary, it took 7 years.
Oh wow! And how is it to work in parallel your, let's call it 9-to-5 job at the studio, and then The Uncle is a complete passion project that you have to work on in your free time? How do you balance that?
It's how should I put this? When we started, when we had production, when we got money for production, it was a 2 years period. It was COVID then, and we didn't work on anything, so we could just how should I put this? We could concentrate on The Uncle. So for 3 years we were just doing the film. Castings, location scouting, rewrites and everything.
Yeah.
And I made a couple of short films after the college and during the college. But the real job in Croatia is doing TV and commercials.
And
music videos.
like that too, yeah. And David, your co-director, you met him in a film school?
Yes, we were friends since the second year. Since the second year, and we started to write together and to assist to each other on our films. And also we were working on other projects, commercial projects like on television series, and we made a couple of.
So you two work together for other professional works as well?
Yes. But I made a couple of films without him, and because he was on television. But we decided that the first feature film would be that we make it together.
How cute.
Because in Croatia it's easier to get money for film if there are two directors, 2 authors co-directing.
Okay, well then let's move over. Let's start talking a bit about The Uncle. Came out last year. You said it took you 7 years to work on that. So you said you started working first on the screenplay. Was there? What was your initial inspiration? How did it just come to your mind? Was it like a line or a sentence that came to your mind one day? Was it an image that inspired you for The Uncle?
Well, we started as a short film because it should be this kind of exercise that cinematographers in Zagreb Academy, they have to make this final graduation film that has a lot of different situations with light. They should shoot the sunrise, sunsets or something like that. And our friend, he couldn't manage to graduate for 7 or 8 years, and we wanted to help him to write this kind of short film and direct it with our friends that would be shot in his house with 3 or 4 actors. And it started with that, with this idea. We have this house that it's on the outskirts of Zagreb, and it's stuck in the 80s. The whole furniture, everything was in the 80s. Let's make some kind of...
So the house was as it was, you didn't change anything on the house?
No, we in the end we didn't shoot, of course, in this house.
Okay, it was the inspiration.
Yeah, it was the inspiration. And after we started writing this film, and we find out that it's not a short film, it started to grow. And in the end it was a feature film that we applied on a Croatian Audiovisual Center to get finances. And in the end, our friend managed to graduate with something else, and we started to develop this into what is now an uncle. And it was the idea that we have this family in the 80s, and it was some kind of idea that this uncle comes from Germany, and something weird, something dark should happen in that house. And the second idea was that there was a catch that was missing in this story. And so it's Christmas. Let's make it Christmas, but what if Christmas was every day? And after that, it just opened, and we started writing The Uncle. Because David and I, we had this certain, let's not say traumas, but kind of memories with Christmas in Croatia that we didn't have this kind of relative.
What is Christmas like in Croatia?
Christmas in Croatia is, as you can see it in a film, family, turkey on the table,
very traditional.
Gifts, yes, very traditional. And we wanted to make Christmas some kind of torturing device.
It's well put.
And we didn't have this kind of relative that lived abroad. We have a lot of friends that lived abroad, and they were this kind of uncle guy. They were showing off, bringing presents, and those presents were, when you live in Croatia in the 90s, early 80s, it seemed that these presents were very rich and very expensive, but that was the stuff that he bought on a gas station on the way from Munich to Zagreb or Split. I live in Split in childhood. And it was this kind of inspiration that we have this authoritarian figure, the uncle, and the Christmas every day, and it started like that in 2015.
And so I find it's quite ironic that coming back to you were talking about your friend that was studying and couldn't graduate from the studies. That, because I mean, it's in a way it's a good thing that he wasn't able to graduate, because the movie would have stayed a short film if he had graduated right away.
Well, fortunately, yeah.
It's a nice thing, and yeah, and I like this notion of Christmas because it's the entire movie is about family ties and how certain family ties can be not subverted but turned against each other. You were talking about, if I understood correctly, that they were not direct inspirations from your life. I didn't really understand. You were talking about trauma. I didn't really understand that aspect.
Well, my opinion is that Christmas is trauma.
Okay.
Because there is this kind of expectation that people expect from Christmas, that you have to be happy, that all the family in the house they have to get along together, and this torturing with presents. You have to buy everyone a present. You have to be happy when you get a shitty present, and the whole family when they get along on this dinner or lunch. Well, they don't like each other at all. They have to pretend to be happy, to be this courtesy, and in the end you have you try to make this lunch. The mother, father, I don't know. They start preparing for the lunch a few days before the Christmas, and we are all stressed. We are all angry, and we are all fucked up and fat after Christmas ends. So I find it a very traumatic experience.
Okay, I agree with you on that. And I think it's a very interesting notion as well, because in a way everyone is an actor on Christmas, because you're just pretending,
you're
playing a role.
Yes, to be happy.
So it's the movie is in that way very, how should I put it? I can't really find the word right now, but it is like starring in when you go to Christmas and it's Christmas Eve, it's like starring in a movie. Everyone puts on their mask. It's like Shakespeare. I think Shakespeare stated like everyone is an actor in the Wilder Stitch. It's exactly
and
that.
And Pirandello also.
Yeah, exactly, Pirandello. Yeah. Yeah, and then could you guide us also a bit through the production of the movie? It was a very long production process. Was it frustrating? Was it easy?
Well, in Croatia, it's very slow process for first-time filmmakers to get money. Now it's a lot more faster. After the first film, we got the financing for the second film after 2 years.
You already have a new project?
Yeah, we have another project, David and I, we're making second film. But we didn't get the full money, but we get these production finances and everything. And when you are starting, there are 3 phases in Croatia to get money. You get script financing, production development financing, and then you get production financing.
Okay.
And it was a period of 5 years period when we got all these steps. And after that, because we tried to write the film and make the film that is not too expensive. We have 4 people in one house. And we thought it would be easy way out to make this kind of film, but it wasn't. So I mean,
in the end, it's a very sophisticated movie. In the end, the lighting is very. You worked a lot on the lighting. I feel like a lot on the cinematography. I imagine it wasn't that cheap in the end.
Well, it wasn't. But in the end, we tried to find this certain house that should, because the whole film is in the same house, and this house should reflect everything that presents the 80s, the 70s from Yugoslavia. And it should be a large house that it doesn't become repetitive, that the framing and the story and mise-en-scène doesn't become repetitive. And we wanted to make it a kind of museum of Yugoslavia. And all rooms in the film present a certain period of Yugoslavia.
Okay.
But who knows architecture of Yugoslavia can.
So is it in the studio? Did you build the house?
No, it wasn't in the studio.
Okay.
It was there were 2 houses. The one house was in Zagreb, in the city. The interior of the house was there, and through the window you can see the whole city and everything. But the exterior was in this village 70 kilometers from Zagreb. So we put together 2 houses. And I hope you can't see.
No, it passes perfectly. It's a perfect illusion.
Because we were looking for the location, scouting for this house. We used to see on the internet or by ourselves about 1,000 houses, because we chose this one. And
how did that work? Did you you were talking about the internet? Was there a website you would go to, or just walking around, traveling? And
we had this location scout that used to go to Google Maps and watch all around Zagreb, these countryside houses. Yes. And going there and talking with people. And when he made I don't know 200 houses, we were all together going and seeing those houses. But people would think that to find this kind of simple house is very easy, but it wasn't an easy process.
Especially because you had a very complicated idea to realize if every room was going to represent something else. Could you also maybe go deeper into that, the political dimension of the house?
Well, I don't know what was the question.
You said that every room represented a different aspect or a different period in early in Yugoslavia. Could you maybe go deeper into that?
Well, yeah. The dining room, it is all in the wood. It made in the wood. It's very traditional. So a lot of people in Yugoslavia, in Croatia especially, in this part of Croatia, this hilly part of Croatia, they wanted to make this kind of houses that are very traditional. And that dining room represents this traditional Austro-Hungarian interior. And living room is this socialistic furniture that the whole people in Croatia, they had this certain kind of
also
furniture.
the TV?
Yes.
Was it? Okay.
And we wanted to put it like that. And the rooms and the kitchen is a typical 80s kitchen, as all the people had in Croatia. It was this kind of white or with orange details.
And upstairs?
And upstairs the rooms are, we call that, we wanted that the room is very sfumato, very dark. This mother.
Yeah, the screaming
father.
room. Yeah, that really struck me. Yeah, and there was also this. You were talking about the dark tones. I think there were also some velvet red tones. It was very sensual. There was a sensuality linked to that room.
Yeah, our art director, she's also a film director. She studied with me. We were all together in film school, and she finished architecture before, and she works now primarily in Croatia as art director on Game of Thrones, all those series that are shot in Croatia, and we know each other quite well. And David and I said to her that we want this room of mother and father to look something like Conformist, Bertolucci film. So, and from there got these curtains, velvet curtains, and everything.
Okay, and also, I thought there was an ingenious idea. That scene where the uncle takes the mother up into that room. And they have this screaming. Well, he forces her to scream and moan, and I thought it was very powerful in the sense that it's all about intimidation. It's an intimidation tactic that the uncle uses. How did you come up with that idea? I think it's a really great idea. By the way, do you want more water? Or?
No, I'm fine. Thank you. We wanted to have, because we wanted the whole structure of the film was avoiding cliches, to try to deconstruct every genre motive that we've seen in I don't know, home invasion thrillers or psychological thrillers and everything. And in this particular moment of film, when everything falls apart because the son left and he returned, and the father bursts and puts this French salad, we call it French salad, on his face, that something terrifying must happen. And in this kind of films, horrors or something like that, something violent or sexual should happen. And because it triggers the trauma of the uncle, because we don't know his backstory, but we can assume that his uncle, which Christmas he replicates every day, every single day, he was kind of violent to the mother, or there was something sexual. But when he was little, he couldn't understand what was happening behind the closed door. He could just hear screaming, or I don't know, something like that, and he tried to replicate that.
That's because it's very profound, because it's a child's vision of what violence is. That's very interesting, and because what it says about the character is that he is stuck in that trauma, and he has never had the chance to grow up and not only recover, but to, it's like he was never able to mature from that moment on. And I think that's what makes that scene so powerful. On the one hand, because it says a lot about the character, but also because the violence is omitted. It's not. I think that scene is much more powerful than the other scenes where he's running around with the gun.
Thank you very much.
I think that scene is very
That's
intense.
one of my favorite scenes.
Yeah. And I think that's what the genius is in that scene. It's that you work a lot with suggestion, and imagining, having to be in the skin of the father who's outside, has to listen to that, and who is outside of that huis clos situation. It must be horrible. Yeah,
we wanted to make audience uncomfortable, because the first idea was that we are outside with the father and the son, but no, fuck it, let's put the audience right with them. And That's the first place when we were showing the film in the cinemas, and the first moment when people start to go out from the film is that one. Yeah.
And how was the reception in general in Croatia and also in other countries? How did the public react, and how was it difficult to find public for this film?
Well, in Croatia we got about 7,000 people in cinemas, and that's for Croatian film. That's okay for this kind of film, because commercial film in Croatia, Croatian films that are comedies, because in Croatia you make or comedy or art film. And Croatian films, this kind of commercial films, have about 20,000 viewers. And the art films are from about 1,000 to 5, 6, so we are above this, this border. And there were different reactions, because in every country we were showing the film, there were they found this allegory with this authoritarian uncle, and they found it very differently to interpret. And in Croatia, the critics were really good, but people, usually, I should say, common audience would be very angry after seeing this film. But a festival audience would find it very interesting.
And was there a kind of a scandal, or I don't know how the press reacted or so? Was there a public discussion about the film? Because, as you said, it's somehow...
In Croatia, anything that is connected to culture is on the margin. There is no scandal.
So the initial idea was to provoke?
No. It happened while we were making the film that some of the people find it like allegory of the 90s, and other people find it as an allegory on the destruction of Yugoslavia or something like that. We didn't have this kind of idea or intention to make a political film.
Do you have a problem with people reading that into the movie?
No, not at all, because the film is so loosely made with these ideas and the motives that you can put whatever you want, whatever allegory. It is an allegory of... We wanted to make film about conformism, about this moment when people start to how should I put this? This kind of banality of evil. How long you can endure this kind of torture and psychical violence before you
revolt? Or
yeah.
And
one of the first motives was that the family is a repressive system. Family as
like a microcosm.
Microcosm is a repressive system.
And do you think that's because talking about violence and power and subjugation and revolt, those are universal themes. It's not only limited to Yugoslavia, right? Do you think that people internationally can resonate with the movie because, especially, it's not so focused on Yugoslavia, but because it's about something more?
Well, whenever we came, there were different readings of the film. In Romania, they saw Ceausescu. In Germany, of course, they saw Hitler. Yeah. In Italy, well, I don't remember what happened there in Italy. In Serbia, they saw Aleksandar Vučić, and whenever we came, they put their problems, their perspective into the film.
I think that's the certificate that your movie has on the wall. Well, you've done a good job. The movie works because people are able to project their own subjectivity into the movie, their own conditions, living conditions. So I think you should wear it as see it as a trophy.
Yes, yes, we are. We didn't imagine that a lot of people could put a lot of those motives and thoughts and find what resonates with them in our film.
And what do you think is going to happen with the movie now that it's out? Where it came out last year, but I mean, it's going to be out for the rest of history, right? Do you think people are going to put it up, watch it under different contexts and read different things into it in the future, reappropriate the movie differently? How is it to think that it's like letting out a child into the world, and then the child is independent and does what it wants, you know?
First year we got to all kind of these art festivals, let's say so. But this year our distributor managed to. We got about 14 genre and fantastic festivals, and it got really good success. We got in Sitges and in Austin. We got rewards for directing, and people and audience were quite amused with our film. And so, because it seems that this film has two lives: artistic life and fantasy or genre life. And I hope that it would be read in the future, that you can sit in front of the uncle and see it as a thriller, not as an art film.
Okay.
And vice versa, of course.
Exactly. And
Maybe there are also other students.
yeah, if someone has a question, just raise your hand.
There's some shots in the film where you use mirrors and reflections. Was that something you came up during shooting the movie, and when you were at the scene and maybe saw the mirrors and thought like, oh, this could be great for a complex shot? Or was it maybe even something you had in mind before you actually shot the scene?
Well, we had in mind general I would say plan of shooting and framing the film. We wanted to have these. I would say the framing is a torturing device for an actor. The whole the compositions are moved a little bit to make audience uncomfortable. And we had this plan to make it that way, but when you see the location and you come on location, you are inspired by whatever you find there. And those mirror shots came when we scouted the location and started to frame the film on the set.
Okay.
So I'm glad you liked it.
What other methods did you use to discomfort the spectator?
Well, we wanted to have this camera, static camera, and this framing that decomposed the frame and put the actors moved from the actual standard shooting, and it seemed that when you see this kind of framing, when you watch the film, it would make you uncomfortable. And we done that also with the sound. You hear just what's important in the sound, and you hear the dialogue, and it's like in a kind of vacuum.
Yeah. Okay. I see. Yeah, I see what you mean. Talking about sound, there's one thing that
we were inspired by Bresson. Bresson said that everything that's important is in the framing, and so we wanted to make it just to focus on
and have it as minimalistic as possible. Yes. There's this one. I don't remember when exactly the song.
The fire exercise.
No, it's the bell that's ringing. In the soundtrack, there's this one song that plays, and it's like around the middle of the movie. I can't tell you exactly when it happens, but it's just a song that plays, and I think the mother is outside doing something, and it really reminded me of like 80s horror movies. Like it could have been out of Suspiria or something. It had like synthesizers and everything. Is there like a direct conscious reference you're making to?
Yes, we wanted to sound like a Giallo film, yes, and John Carpenter. Well, the film was in the first time we didn't want to have the music, the soundtrack. We wanted to be just playing.
What you said earlier,
yeah, just silence and after a few views, there was these certain scenes that demanded music, and we wanted to make soundtrack that sounds like something that's out of this film. We wanted to make the most craziest soundtrack ever, not the typical soundtrack with drones or I don't know, horror soundtrack. And we remembered that we used to love Carpenter films and these signature soundtracks. And from Giallo films, when you see any Giallo film, of course, Dario Argento, it has this crazy soundtrack that enhances the
supernatural. It brings it up.
And we got this friend which is expert in synthesizers, and he made the soundtrack.
That's really cool. I like that. I think it's a really nice touch. Do you maybe want to talk a bit about the Carpenter references in the movie, or like are there certain movies by Carpenter that inspired this movie?
I don't know, but I'm not quite sure that we have. When we pitched a film for the first time on this workshop in Greece, they wanted from us to make a reference, like tell us about 2 films or styles that should represent your film. And we said like it's a bastard child of Haneke's Funny Games and Yorgos Lanthimos.
That's true. It's now that you're saying it, there's certain parallels of to Funny Games. What was the second movie you said?
Yorgos Lanthimos, Greek director.
I don't know that.
Perhaps you've seen Dogtooth or Killing of Sacred Deer.
I've heard of. Oh yeah, I've heard of that.
He won Venice this year with his last film, Poor Things, Emma Stone, and I don't know who plays there.
Yeah, I've heard of Killing of a Sacred Deer, but I haven't watched
Nicole Kidman.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
You should see it.
I will tonight when I have the time.
Write it down.
Yeah, and Funny Games, because in Funny Games you also have this enclosed space. It's also only happening in this mansion, and well, you were talking about now it makes sense, because you were talking about earlier that one of the themes of the movie is how far can you push a person into submission, and where is the point where they're burning out and where they're revolting, and trying to find that sweet spot. And Funny Games in a way is also about that. It's about showing how mediocre people can be and how cowardly they can behave because they don't like in The Uncle, for example, the father doesn't the husband doesn't stand up to his wife when they're in the screaming room. I think there's even this line, I don't remember the exact line, but he says I didn't let it happen, or no, something, and then she says, "You still let it happen."
Yes. She resents him that he left her to go with the uncle. But it didn't happen, so you left me.
Yeah, but he still like opened the door and let the situation happen, even if nothing happened in the end. But I think. Now that you said it, I start seeing the parallels between the 2 films. And would you say it's a homage to Haneke, maybe?
Well,
or is it too much?
No, I wouldn't say it's a homage. No, we wanted to have this certain situation when the sister comes. Mm-hmm. We wanted to make this kind of situation that she sits in his lap, he has the gun, and they are doing nothing. And it was very difficult to write it it makes sense. It's convincible to audience to believe that they are not doing anything they could, because it's very, very difficult because their spirit should be broken so much that they do not try to make any move to the uncle.
And why did you choose the mother as being the more sensitive one, or the one that at least thinks or tries to stand up against the uncle? Why did you choose her and not the father to like try to start a small revolution?
Because the mother, she's for me the mother is the main character of the film, and this whole thing I think it started that she is the one that she stays with her child until the end. The father is the one he is in control of things because he's putting pills inside mother's drinks to make her calm. And the son, he after a while he start to resent to mother that he also wants to be important in this story, not just the sister. And the mother is the only one which very fanatically wants to put this to the end.
Yeah. Would you say that she's mistreated in the household?
In uncle's script, from his Christmas, the mother is the father is not so much our father. Maybe in his real life he's not so much competent to be this paterfamilias traditional as it expected to be from the uncle. And the whole problem comes from this, that they don't play their natural roles.
Yeah.
Whereas the mother is more dominant, father is like more steady.
Yeah. But there's also this strange psychosexual relationship between the uncle and, well, the mother in the movie, but also the uncle's real mother, right? Because I remember the scene when the uncle is filming through the camera, and then he's filming the feet of the mother, right? And then he tells her to like move further and all that. Do you think that's something that? How do you explain that? What was the relationship between the uncle and his own mother?
It is some kind of trauma that he has. He watched all those because the uncle, he forced them to watch these home videos on television, and when he was small. Perhaps what he saw was this sexualized moment where his uncle, the old dirty pig, shot his mother, and he just replicates that. We didn't want to make it sexual, that because the uncle doesn't feel this sexual side of himself. It's just mechanical how he saw it. His uncle shot it.
Do you think that the only way out of that vicious circle for the uncle? Do you think he could have overcome the trauma, or do you think that his suicide was the only way to break the circle?
He thought that overcoming the trauma would be to recreate the perfect Christmas, but after, I don't know how you interpreted the end.
Does someone maybe?
I don't know how you interpreted the end.
Well, I understood it that he
it's not the exam.
No, not that. But I'm just trying to recall it. Can you maybe like explain the end again?
No, the end when he shoots himself.
But he doesn't only shoot himself, but he also shoots the sister, right? And I don't remember. Does the perfect Christmas happen? Does it happen? I think what happened is that to him finally the perfect Christmas happened, and so it was like this conflict that was open in him finally closed, or maybe not healed, but at least he could like come to terms with it. And then he kills himself to, I think it's a happy killing. He kills himself because he's
happy kill.
Because because he finally found a certain serenity. You know what I mean? A certain balance in his life again. And he says to himself, okay, now is a good moment.
It's a very legit interpretation. We could see it as that way. But in my opinion, I think if you ask David if he was here, maybe he would tell differently. But for me, it was a perfect Christmas, this one that they recreated. But in a certain moment, he just realized that the perfect Christmas doesn't
exist. Okay.
Yes, doesn't.
Okay.
Yeah. And shooting himself in the end is because he wasted all his life by doing this and living in this trauma, and it was the only logical explanation to
and why does he kill the daughter then?
Well, I don't think that maybe David thinks, and a lot of people think, but I don't think it's not in the trunk. Do you all think that the sister was in the trunk? Who thinks that sister is in the trunk all of you.
No, I hesitate.
Oh, you don't think that sister
Well,
was
no,
not in
I
the
was.
trunk?
It's quite when you see this and how he can use his gun and shoot at everything in the house when he wants, the uncle. You would think at the end. Personally, I've thought that he killed Sis. It's a name.
Yeah.
Yeah, sister.
So,
Sis.
just not sure about the pronunciation, so
No
don't
problem.
resist. And yeah, so I thought this, but now that I'm doubting now. So at the end, I don't think so. He just wants to. No, I don't know.
No,
Sorry.
because it's open, because you are all right. If you think that she was in a trunk or she wasn't, because it's made that the audience make their own interpretation. When we started to write the film, I was thinking that she was in the trunk. Now I don't think that she's in the trunk. Now I want to believe. No, that I want to believe. I believe that sister was killed by the mother. When she poisoned the wine, and
Yeah,
yes,
there was also.
Yeah.
and the uncle when he came the last day, they wanted to see her, and one of those things why he shot himself because he couldn't stand in front of them and told you killed your own daughter.
Yeah. This was also my female interpretation.
But also there is an interpretation that the sister was not in the trunk. It was the last trick of the uncle to trick them before he shot himself.
Talking about.
Oh,
Ethan, go ahead.
Now I could maybe I'll see that this is last present because the mother thinks she killed her sister, yeah, and so he makes them believe that he killed her, so they don't think of this and he takes the responsibility. So I think that could be also seen like this, as he takes the responsibility as his last Christmas present to family.
Yeah, yes, she's not in there, and
Yes.
just go and find her yourself if you can.
Yeah.
But what you said that he killed himself in the, I mean your version, your interpretation of the movie, that he killed himself because the perfect Christmas was something impossible. It reminds me, I have to talk about this. I'm a huge David Cronenberg fan, and in The Brood, there's also this theme of inheriting and a vicious cycle that keeps repeating itself that is unbreakable. And what you just said reminds me a lot of it reminds me of The Brood.
Nice, thank you.
Yeah.
I never heard
you
this
remember
one.
the end shot of The Brood? It's like a
I seen
close-up
it
on the daughter.
a
who
long
starts-
time ago, about 15, 20 years ago, last
Yeah.
time. That's with those small children.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
okay.
You should watch again and maybe try to think of the movie through the lens of the uncle, because now that you're talking about this, it reminds me a bit of The Brood.
Oh, yes, I'll watch that. Because we heard a lot of references on our film. The last one we heard was Duke of Burgundy, Peter Strickland. If you have seen it. No.
Do we have other questions, maybe?
The song you choose for the film, where the uncle dances with the mother, how did you choose the song, and what was it like to get the rights for the film?
We wanted that song because it is very popular Christmas song in Croatia. And it's made by this very famous Croatian band that's named Novi Fosili. No. And it's one of 3 or 4 most famous bands in Croatia that were very popular in the 80s. And we wanted that this song sounds like something from some Sanremo Italian festival, because it was very watched festival in Croatia. And Italian, we wanted, in first place, we wanted an Italian song. But it's very expensive and it's very difficult to get rights for that. And we find the next best thing to Italian song, and we found this perfect Christmas song, because if you can read the lyrics, it matches what's
perfectly.
happening.
It's exactly that. The song was chosen after the After the script was written?
No. We wanted this kind of song, and it was from the very same beginning. We wanted this song.
Because it's exactly about the story in the movie.
Yes.
So I was also wondering, like, did you maybe the song was the inspiration for the movie, but not at all?
No,
It was
not at all. We wanted this kind of song. What would be Uncle's favorite song? And I started listening, and I remember it was about Christmas time when we started writing Uncle. It was 2015. It was December, and we were kind of raped by this song on the radio, and I fucking hating it since my childhood. So I'm very, very happy that it ended up in the film.
So for you also, it was like recreating trauma and like
Yeah.
learning to deal with it and then coping and then coming over.
Yes,
the trauma.
it was like this film was kind of psychotherapy.
Yeah, and are you not disgusted by Christmas altogether now after working on this movie for 7 years?
What do you mean?
Like, because you've been so intensely focusing on Christmas, you're not like, are you not burnt out with Christmas?
Well, I try to reduce the Christmas in my life.
Now it's only once a year.
And
the
when
movie, it's
people
every day.
see this film, okay, you're not a Christmas type.
Okay.
And when my parents they were watching the film, and my mother, when she saw the film, she said, I'm not this kind of bitch like this woman in this film.
Did your parents feel guilty?
No.
Because if I was a parent and my child was an artist and they made a movie about, like, I don't know, like abusive parents or whatever, I would like start questioning my entire life and like my education, how I raised my children.
My mother lives in delusion that I'm the uncle.
Okay. Well, okay. Anything else?
Maybe it was more about the score music, because at the beginning you said this location that seemed to take place in the 80s, 90s, and you've got this really electronic music with these synths that make this sound. Why did you choose this type of music for the score music? Because I think it was very intriguing, because you've got this old school location and set design, and you've got this electronic music that is quite modern in its conception.
Well, we tried to make this kind of. Are you familiar with new retro wave?
A bit, yes.
Yeah, this kind of synth music that is made in a modern way, and we wanted that it resembles on what I said to him, John Carpenter music and Giallo music, but made in this kind of modern interpretation. And because David and I, we have some kind of misconceptions of should we use music or not in a film. And after all, there was a good compromise, and we all know what's a good compromise, that both sides are both on the same level unhappy. We wanted to make this kind of music that is the most craziest music that you can put in your film. And we wanted to resemble the atmosphere of the 80s.
Okay.
So because of that,
Okay.
it's in the film. It's on about, I think, 3 or 4 places in the film you can hear this music.
I was wondering, you said that it's a co-directing thing, because one of the reasons was that it was easier to get money, which I found is quite a strange point. I'm a producer, so I produced quite a few co-directing films. But how do you manage? Because I know that every duo co-directing, they are organized in a different way. And in reality, it's not so easy to do co-directing. So are you really like...
It's not easy to do directing when you are the only person.
Exactly.
But, well, it's... I think it's easier to make it when you are two of you, to make it happen. Because every decision that's seen on the screen, it's... You reevaluate it for 2 times, and when you make a film on your own, when you are the only director, all your decisions, what you're made bad or good, you are not quite sure until you see the film on the screen. And when two of you make the film, you talk a lot about every decision before you come in front of the crew and tell we are going to do it this way or that way. But it's very difficult because, however, we are really good friends and we know each other for 15 years. We are quite different, and every decision is 70% we agree on everything, and we like to tell that this 30% that we don't agree is the magic that's put in the film.
So now you will continue as a duo for all your films, or only for the next
No,
film?
next film, I think we are going to make a next film where I'm going to be a screenwriter, he will be a director.
Okay.
But we like to cooperate and doing things together because we understand each other.
And why is it that you get easier money when you are two directors?
Because there is no money, and you kill two flies with one shot when you make two first-time film directors with one film.
And may you tell us how much was the budget, approximately?
Well, budget was about €500,000, something like that. But we had a co-production with Serbia. We got financing in Croatia. It was about €250, and there was COVID, and we got this kind of money for if we are going to shoot in pandemics, because nothing was shooting in Croatia, and we got this money, and we got money for Serbia, and it was about €500,000.
Well, before finishing up, are you even allowed to maybe disclose something about your new project?
Well, okay, yes, I can. The film is called Pogana. It's a name of a main character, and if we can translate it in English, it would be like a pagan woman.
Okay.
It's quite different from The Uncle, because the film is set 100 years ago in 1922 on this remote island in Croatia, and we're seeing it to be shot in black and white. And this is this certain woman from the heartland of Croatia, she was sold by her father to this sailor that has 6 female children, and she's going to look after those children, and they live on this island it's very religious and very conservative, and they don't look upon her very nicely because she doesn't believe in God and everything. And in certain moment, this sailor he disappears on the sea, and she is left alone with those children and with these horrible people, and and it's like, I don't know, Lars von Trier makes Greek Zorba the Greek. And after a while, she goes fishing, and she's throwing her fish net in the sea, and with the fishes and crustaceans, she finds human bone. And every time she goes fishing, she finds human bones, and she is putting up the skeleton of her, her husband, and she marries that skeleton.
Okay, why marry?
Because that's the only way that she has the right as a woman on this island, to become someone's wife, although that is a skeleton.
Okay, is that entrenched in
yes, in
culture of that island? Or?
Well, it's a kind of very cruel old school tradition in Balkan.
Okay.
It's called a black wedding, when you marry your late. If a man dies before you be married to him, you got to be married to him, and be married to a corpse, let's say, for 2 years.
Okay. Well. And in what end? What is the objective of that marriage?
Well, after that, if you survive, of course, with the family, when you are a kind of slave in that family, you are free to go.
Okay, so to like, okay, I see now. Okay, wow, that's very. And I suppose there's also a lot of research links to that project.
Well, yeah, we tried to make it, but we wanted that it's a kind of motive. We wanted to make this kind of this island where it's always raining and it's very windy, and these picturesque people that live on this island, like a priest, doctor, islanders.
Is liberty a theme, like submission and like the process to freedom? Is that a theme
yes,
that interests you a lot?
Like it's like finding your place on very repressive.
Okay, because the uncle was
place,
also about that, right? Yeah.
Well, we have the same motives.
Okay. Well, any other questions? If not, then I think we'll wrap up. Okay. Well, thank you, Andrija.
Thank you very much.